Hello there. This is a presentation about how the Roman Empire fell and why it was more of a fall than a transformation. But before that, I would like to give a general explanation as to why empires fall. Why do empires fall? One reason that contributes to the fall of an empire is its economic decline. This is where an empire generally is receiving less taxes because production and trade is slowing. One example can be seen in Persia, where the king hoarded the tax money from the people so that they would have less and less money. The people being poor leads to less money in circulation, which lowers trade inside the empire, and tax revenue becomes less and less as a result. Another reason why empires fall is because of military chaos. Military chaos isn't just outside invaders invading an empire. It is a time period where multiple military conflicts that occur all over the empire that are close enough together that it seems like the empire's military is in total chaos. This includes peasant rebellions like the ones in China that are constantly happening during the last century of the Han Dynasty. Or it could be a civil war where the king dies and Persian families are fighting for a disputed throne. The third and final reason why an empire falls is because the central government weakens and the government workers get stronger. This can be seen in China, where government officials, because of their status and their bureaucracy, start forming kingdom-like territories in the Chinese empire. This can also be seen in the Persian Empire because as families are fighting for the throne, there is no king, so the governors of the Persian Empire get more free will to increase their own power by not paying taxes to the core government and increase its own military size to oppose the core government, even though if they're still technically loyal to Persia. But since they have an increased military size, they are bound to rebel.
So now that we have some ideas of what weakens and destroys an empire, let's talk about the decline of the Roman Empire. Its decline was a result of economic struggle, military chaos, and political issues. First off, economic struggle was due to a number of factors. One problem that Rome had was that they kept trading gold and silver on Asian luxuries like silk and spices. Though the luxuries were nice, this caused the empire to lose valuable metals for the sake of temporary luxuries, which generally downgraded the economy. Around 180 AD, the Roman Empire ceased its expansion, and this caused problems with its economy. Rome had been expanding steadily for a relatively long period of time, continually getting slaves and wealth from conquered lands. When the expansion stopped, there was a sudden shortage of human labor and resources, which was amplified more when trying to maintain an already large empire. In order to try to regain some of Rome's lost wealth, the emperor raised taxes and debased coinage in an attempt to regain money in the government. To debase coinage means to decrease the amount of value the coin has. Subsequently, the coin is not worth as much as it once was, and a larger quantity of coins is needed to represent the same value before. This caused an inflation in the Roman Empire and wrecked the economy. People were reluctant to trade the original full-value coins for the debased coins, which stagnated the economy. Merchants, trying to get the same amount of value from the debased coins, would raise the prices of their products. For example, a loaf of bread, once worth 3 denarii, would now cost 5 denarii. However, people trying to buy products would not be able to meet the demands of the merchants, since their wages had not been increased and taxes had been raised by the emperor. People such as soldiers would consequently demand higher wages, and the emperor would need more money to pay them. He would then raise taxes and debase coinage further, continuing the vicious cycle to a wrecked economy. If the emperor was unable or refused to pay the soldiers, he would be faced with rebellions. The soldiers still loyal to the emperor would then have to focus on the revolts inside the empire and abandon the frontiers, making Rome vulnerable to attacks. The barbaric tribes and revived Persian Empire would then take advantage of the opportunities presented and attack the now open Roman frontiers.
So, after a period of turmoil, Diocletian rose to power from his position of a military leader in 284. In an effort to fix some of the problems Rome was having, he decided to adopt a series of reforms in the Roman Empire. In the military, he recruited Germanic tribesmen to increase the size of the Roman military. However, this also resulted in a dangerous alliance between Rome and the barbarians, since the barbarians were not truly loyal to the emperor. Diocletian also split the Roman Empire into 2 regions, the East and the West, which made them more independent of each other. Since the East was rich and prosperous and the West was poor and less organized, the separation made the Eastern Empire less ready to support the Western Empire economically. In his attempt to fix the Roman Empire, Diocletian had also contributed to what could be considered its downfall. Although barbarians and other people have infiltrated Rome throughout its history, making Rome culturally diverse, the barbarian attacks that pushed Rome to its downfall happened during the 4th and 5th centuries. The Huns, first of all, were a much feared nomadic tribe from Mongolia and Asia, and during the late 300s they began threatening Europe. The Visigoths were a group of barbarians that roamed in Eastern Europe. When they saw that the Huns were attacking their neighbor, the Ostrogoths, they fled to Rome to seek protection. Once they were in Rome, however, conflicts arose that resulted in the Battle of Adrianople between the Roman Emperor and the Visigoths in 387, and in 410, the Visigoths successfully sacked Rome. However, their leader died soon after, so the rest of the Visigoths agreed to collaborate with Rome to get rid of the Vandals, which was another tribe of barbarians in Spain. The Visigoths decided to settle in Spain and adopted the Latin language and the Roman customs and religion. However, because after the Visigoths and Roman kicked the Vandals out of Spain, they were angry and homeless. This resulted in several raids where the Vandals took over several Roman provinces in North Africa. Unsatisfied, they attacked ships going through the Mediterranean Sea, messing up the trades within the Roman Empire. Finally, in 455 CE, they sacked Rome and left the city completely destroyed. Without the central city of Rome, the Western Empire lost a key part of the empire and soon disintegrated.
Now that we've talked about how the Roman Empire fell, there are still multiple views on what exactly happened to it. And those views are the theories of the transformationalists, the people who believe that the Roman Empire transformed after it may have fallen, and the catastrophists, who believe once Rome fell, it fell for good. The main idea of the transformationalists is that only the western half of the Roman Empire transformed, while the eastern half of the Roman Empire stayed until around 1453 AD as the Byzantine Empire. The transformationalists also argue that the western half, when it transformed, was just split into smaller, less powerful versions of the Roman Empire. Also, the transformationalists use the fact that during this time, the Christian church's influence only rose from Rome. In addition, the transformationalists say that the barbarians, who were in Rome before it fell, are still in Rome after it fell, so Rome must still be there. Also, another reason that the transformationalists use is that the daily lives of the peasants in Rome did not change all that much after it fell. A final reason that the transformationalists use is the fact that Roman customs stayed after the western half of the Roman Empire fell. On the other hand, catastrophists give counterexamples of why the Roman Empire did fall. An example of this includes the fact that the Roman cities started to decrease in size and population until they eventually just disappeared entirely. Also, society eventually started to become more and more spaced out, where the local landowners had authority over the common folk rather than the Roman government. Also, the Romans had a problem with trade between themselves and other areas becoming less common. In addition, catastrophists say that because Roman innovations eventually started to disappear, that the Roman Empire did fall. Another fact is that the catastrophists use to argue that the Roman Empire fell is that the literacy rate in the Roman population decreased significantly from the already low rate. Because of these arguments, we believe that the Roman Empire fell more than it may have transformed. A big reason we think this is because, as stated before, the fact that the western half of the Roman Empire just ceased to exist after it was conquered. Also, another reason that we think that the Roman Empire just fell is that the Roman customs actually did start to disappear over generations, where people stopped calling themselves Roman and less people were considered Romans, unlike what the transformationalists say. In conclusion, empires throughout history rise to power, but eventually come across some sort of problem that changes their empire for the worse in one way or another. The Romans had a very successful empire, but ended up having many issues in their empire that destroyed it from the inside out. But exactly what happened later is still debated between the transformationists and the catastrophists.